Friday. Welcome on in. Falls Count Anywhere podcast. Charlie Turner, Chris DiCarlo, and John Rustino all here with you guys. It's cold, okay? And no, I mean like it's like really cold, and it sucks. Are you guys staying warm or what?
Yeah, I didn't go nowhere yesterday. Frig that, man. Too cold.
Yeah, it's Arctic, right? I think it's 4 right now. 4 degrees.
Yeah,
4
but
degrees.
feels like what?
Probably 15 below, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting too old for this shit, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
I think we should relocate to Hawaii, change the name of the show. You know, all that.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I love it.
Although you got there's a volcano going on there in Hawaii. I don't even know where to live anymore. If you say California, you got to deal with like a drought and then a flood and then wildfire. Like, where do you go?
And then between California and Florida, you may end up in the drink sooner or later. So I say South Carolina there. We're better off, right?
There you go. Or the desert. Take me to the desert, maybe Arizona or Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah, I said Nashville. I wouldn't mind to be in there, I think.
Nashville, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I hate country music, but I could live with that.
I think they're changing, though. I think they've kind of. I bet you people are mad about that. Have you noticed all the Eastern people? There's a lot of people going down there. It's like becoming such a big spot.
I hear that, though. Yeah, Nashville, Memphis. Yeah, I hear that, though.
Interesting.
It makes sense. You know, it makes sense. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. But hey, guys, you know, we got we're doing our regular show today. Unfortunately, we are without a guest, but please hang with us, you know, because we got 3 jabronis here talking about wrestling. So hopefully you'll split this here and check out the show, because we still have some old school clips that Chris is going to unveil from the vault a little bit later on. We're going to check in with the Iron Sheik, as we always do, of course. But guys, we're going to talk about some of the recent stuff in pro wrestling, most notably the Royal Rumble, which took place last week. I'll tell you what, this is one of the better Royal Rumbles I've seen in a while. They led the show off with the men's match, which was kind of surprising. Yes. I'll tell you what, though, the men's match was great, but I enjoyed the women's match a little bit more. And I thought there was more element of surprise in the women's match. I thought the action was a little better. Don't get me wrong, the men's match was still good. I just thought the women just had a little bit more element of surprise, a little bit more. You saw Nia Jax show up at the end. You know, where's she been? You see the return of Piper Niven, who was named Dewdrop once she came over to the main roster for WWE. Piper Niven, I really wasn't familiar with. Just wanted to mention her real quick because I thought she was impressive. She's a big girl, but for her size, she's pretty impressive. But we'll get into all that. But I guess the first thing I wanted to mention, guys, the men's Royal Rumble and the result, as we saw Cody Rhodes make his return. He was number 30.
Number 30.
So, yeah, and of course he returns and wins the Royal Rumble. He'll now be he has challenged Roman Reigns, of course. He holds both belts, so there's really no other choice. But it looks like Cody Rhodes is going to be facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Is it 39? Is it WrestleMania 39 this is?
Yes, 39. Because I say number 40 next year should be in Madison Square Garden, where it all began. They should have done every 10-year anniversary there. But McMahon going –
you know, it's more about, you know, breaking the attendance records and filling up giant stadiums now. It's not like it used to be, Chris, where they, you know, have it at MSG. But I agree. I think, you know, MSG.
They haven't broken any attendance records.
No, they haven't. And they had about, 50,000 at the Rumble, where, you know, 15, 20 years ago, it would have been about 80,000. But, you know, still a good crowd, still a good event. I enjoyed the Rumble thoroughly. It was really good.
I as well was shocked that they, of course, I text you guys like the same time. Holy cow! They got the men's Rumble in the first match of the pay-per-view. Usually
it's weird, yeah.
But I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed, of course, I like Bray Wyatt. That match was cool.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah. And you know, the men's Rumble only had really one surprise, if you want to call it that, because he kind of mentioned it in the pre-show, was Booker T. You know, he mentioned that he got the call or something like that, or he might be showing up in the Rumble, and he did. But I was surprised to see nobody really kind of come out of nowhere for the men's Rumble there. We saw Edge return.
I thought Lesnar came in and out real quick. I thought he'd spend a little more time in there. That was pretty quick for him.
It was. Yeah, Bobby Lashley.
I mean, we talked about that too. There's another match that we'll probably see this year at WrestleMania, him versus Lashley for the 50th time. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll say this though, and if I wasn't, I mean, I was aware of the guy. I knew he was a good, impressive wrestler, and I know his ring skill has evolved over the years. And let me tell you something. I got to give a shout out to the Intercontinental Champion Gunther, who was teaming at number 1, lasted all the way through, and was eliminated at the end. But man, that guy is, to me, I think he's one of like the future like superstars of WWE. He is awesome. Not a real big guy, muscle-wise. He's tall and strong, and he just has that villainous wrestling look to him. And he hits hard, man, when he's chopping guys in the chest. Yeah. You saw Cody Rhodes' chest was all red.
He looked like he'd be a good Russian.
Yeah,
Like he's got that look about him that he could, make him Koloff or something.
A gimmick, better gimmick than Gunther. But I was impressed too with him. That was good.
Were you guys? And I saw this on Twitter. I'm repeating someone who I can't remember who it was, and they had a blue check mark, but that doesn't mean anything anymore. They were saying it was really incredible. I don't know. They were really dumbfounded or whatever because they used an AEW guy wins the Royal Rumble, that they had to bring back him. Like, I thought that was an interesting take, but I don't know what you guys thought of that, or did that not matter?
It kind of the writing was on the wall with Cody Rhodes. Yeah, you kind of figured if he was going to be returning, you kind of knew, because he got stopped short with the pec injury last year. They built him up from WrestleMania return with Rollins. They had that match. Vince McMahon kind of kept it a secret up until the day of. We kind of knew it was Cody, but when he showed up, he had a huge pop and he had some really good momentum going. And then, of course, he tore the pec muscle and was out. But yeah, it was kind of like writing on the wall when he returned that he was going to win it. But it's just kind of, and I'll tie it into the main event, where of course we saw the Bloodline have their or Roman Reigns had his match against Kevin Owens, and then the entire Bloodline attacking Kevin Owens, and then Sami Zayn turning on the Bloodline at the end there. I'll tell you what, that storyline, I know some people are sick of it, but I think it's been fantastic. It's been one of the better long-term stories in wrestling. And the swerve that they kind of threw in at the end there with Jey Uso leaving the Bloodline at the end there, it wasn't just Sami Zayn. It was also Jey Uso, the brother of Jimmy Uso. So it kind of just throws that little twist in there. But I think it's coming to an end at Mania, this whole Bloodline thing, because from what I've heard some rumors that they might have both titles defended, one on each night of the 2-night WrestleMania, one Saturday night, one Sunday night. To where maybe you could split up Cody Rhodes winning one title, maybe Sami Zayn wins the other, because it's really tough to deny the momentum Sami Zayn has right now. And you saw it last night. If you watch SmackDown, he's popping right now, man. He attacked Roman Reigns, sneak attack. If you didn't see it, and the crowd went absolutely nuts. They're loving it. So it's one of those like underdog stories if he were to win the title, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking Sammy and KO will win the tag title at Mania, and of course, Cody will win the heavyweight title. How long Cody holds on to it, we shall see.
That's a good point, Chris. That's a good way to keep that momentum going. Is the tag titles absolutely?
How many days is it? Do you guys know for Roman Reigns? Is it over? What's it? 1,000? I mean, it's
yeah, it's close. Yeah, hundreds, right? Like 400 or something.
Yeah, no, he was at 9 something coming into the Rumble. I think like 987 or something.
Yeah,
I know he was close.
It's unbelievable. Prolific, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we think about legends though, like Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, even Hulk Hogan for 4 years straight. This is way too long, in my opinion.
And the thing is too is back in the day, like when Hogan had it for that long, you were but you had 4 pay-per-views basically. The big 4: Rumble, Mania, Survivor Series, SummerSlam. So it was easier to have a longer title run because those guys are wrestling jobbers on weekly programming. Monday Night Raw wasn't really, so it was easier to see those longer runs. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's been a long run for Roman Reigns. Look, I like him better as a heel. I thought as a face, he was being force-fed to the fans. The fans were turning on him. They were booing him out of the building. They even brought The Rock in at one point to raise his arm in victory at one of the events, and the crowd was still booing the hell out of him. So I think they made the right move to turn him heel. I just didn't think the title run would be over 3 years or close to 3 years, whatever it is. it's been a wild ride, but I think it's all going to culminate at WrestleMania, hopefully, and then then it's all going to go in a different direction.
Well, I don't know. I mean, as in wrestling, they always keep us in suspense as far as like it was the buildup to me was going to be right. Hollywood, The Rock versus his nephew or cousin, whatever he is to The Rock there, Roman Reigns. And, to say The Rock beat him and then for a month and then drop it back to somebody else. But I don't know. Triple H is saying that The Rock, it's not that he can't do it, but he feels that he's not in wrestling shape to do it. Now, do I believe that? I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen, really? But Cody Roman, I kind of see it hard to develop that storyline build-up for the title other than Cody and the history with his dad. He won the NWA title. He should have had the AEW title even for a month, I thought, but they didn't give it to him. Yeah. That's probably why he left. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's there's so many twists and turns with the whole bloodline thing, and all of a sudden Cody wins the Rumble, and you kind of got to start planting him into the main event picture somehow. So yeah, we'll see how they do that because
and they're just not Rollins, getting revenge on Rollins for tearing his pec.
Yes.
Yeah. So, that it kind of just dropped it there, unless they're going to do Rollins, Logan Paul, I'm guessing, at WrestleMania.
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I got to say, Logan Paul is impressive, man. I mean, like.
That was very impressive.
And his brother, for that matter. Like, these guys were to me, they were kind of like clownish when they first came up on the scene. And, okay, they're going to get into boxing. They're going to fight some But, man, I'll tell you what. I know Jake Paul has taken it very seriously to where he's become a very good boxer, one of the top contenders. And Logan Paul, you see his athletic ability, him colliding with Ricochet in midair. Yeah. Freaking awesome, man. I mean,
that was crazy.
Can I say something? I'm going back to some old, back in time a little bit. As I saw him do that, and so athletic, unbelievable athleticism. I don't know why this guy came into my head. I was telling my son, I said, but then, and I don't know why his name slipped in my mind, but Vince McMahon's son, Junior there, whatever. Shane. Some of the stuff he used to do was unbelievable. I don't know why that hit me. I'm like, that guy looked like a bowler. He wasn't in great shape. He never looked like he was anything like his dad, blew up. He was unbelievable. I don't know why. And I know it's kind of a weird thing, but it just that as I was watching it, I'm like, I remember that guy doing that kind of stuff.
You're right.
He was
Shane would do the corner to corner. That was impressive.
Yeah, I know. And he was just kind of a slob.
Yeah. In a way. He took some very high risk spots too, from like a scaffold at one of the events where he must have jumped about 50 feet, man. I mean, that's
Kurt Angle through the glass.
Yeah. Great point though on I thought, guys, on the Paul stuff. I mean, both of them. Jake is he went from fighting YouTubers to now, I think he's fighting Tyson Fury's brother or whatever coming up. And that's actually going to be decent if you can. I don't know if I'd pay for it, but if you can grab, it'd be a decent see.
Yeah. I mean, and I saw him on a somewhat recent interview. I think it was ESPN or something like that. It was on TV. And he was even saying, Jake Paul, he was even saying, like, look, he goes, boxing, well, I guess let me just put it this way. Everything he was saying about it, he was dead serious. He's like, it's my entire life now. I train every day. I do this every day. I do that every day. He's not just treating it like a clown show, man. The guy really stepped up and became a significant contender in the boxing world. It's good to see.
Well, that's what I think Logan Paul will be the wrestler then for the WWE, which already impressive to me over less than a year time. So, but I'm seeing that now. I'm seeing Rollins Logan Paul match. I bet you.
Cool.
Yeah, and I like it. I mean, that'll work. I mean, I'd like to see Rollins in the main event picture this year because I think Rollins is another guy. His momentum has just been awesome. The crowd singing his song.
Did you guys see what he said about CM Punk?
Yes.
That was unbelievable. I saw that backstage.
I saw something, but I did not hear what he said or whatever. But
I should have had that video. It was unbelievable. They asked him right about CM Punk. I don't know I can't remember the question, but it was about maybe him showing up at the Royal Rumble or something like that. And I'm going to paraphrase. I probably don't remember. Maybe you do better, Charlie. He says something like he was a cancer. He started laughing and said, "No, I don't want anything to do with him. Keep him away from me," type of thing.
Yeah, basically said he's an asshole. Like he didn't want nothing to do with it.
Well, I still wonder what's going on in AEW with that. They kind of just stopped the whole thing there, and I don't know what. I don't know.
He's still under contract with them, but they're obviously not using him, and they might just wait out the contract and let him go. I don't know, but yeah, it's
what a shame.
An interesting thing. Yeah,
he was so good. What a shame. I mean, he was.
That was the biggest pop I've heard in a long ass time, and I thought it would be good.
It was like Hogan, man. It was that loud. It was like Hogan.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, but he shouldn't have swore and belittled his boss there, Tony Khan, live after the pay-per-view. I mean, that you don't. To me, you don't do that. No, so I don't blame Khan for taking him off, but I still wonder what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, he had all the momentum in the world, man, and then all that shit that happened with the Young Bucks and was it Omega or and it was just like, it was all that shit really necessary, and now, he had an alternative to go to AEW, and now he's burned that bridge, so who knows? I mean, I'm kind of over it at this point. I loved seeing him come back, but then after all that shit happened, it was just like, yeah, all right, I had enough of CM Punk, but yeah, it's We'll most likely be seeing Logan Paul and Seth Rollins at Mania, which is cool. I'm looking forward to that. But guys, again, back to the women's Rumble. Rhea Ripley coming out. Now she was entrant number 1. She lasted the whole Rumble there and ended up winning it after being speared by the Glamazon Beth Phoenix during the men's Rumble, of course, as well. She came out holding her ribs and she took a bad spear and ended up winning the whole thing. I love Rhea Ripley. She is one badass female wrestler, man. I think she's awesome, and I would love to see her beat the crap out of Charlotte Flair. Flair is another one. Charlotte Flair is another one where it's just been kind of force-fed down our throats. Like, how many times is she going to win the title?
I'm surprised she didn't jump ship already to go to AEW.
Yeah, which their women's division is okay, but yeah, it needs a little help too. But yeah, it just surprised me that she won it the way she did from Rousey in that squash match there. But anyway, Ripley and Flair should be a pretty awesome match for WrestleMania. Ripley's got a ton of momentum with the faction she's in, this Judgment Day. And it's just been a really cool thing that's been going on with the whole mommy shtick with Dominic Mysterio just getting out of prison and all that shit.
You know what they could do? They could do Saturday night at Mania. I'm thinking they could do mixed tag there with Ripley and somebody against Edge and Beth, and then on Sunday, and then on Sunday they can have her beat Charlotte.
That'd be cool too. I would be all right with that, But yeah, I love that she won it. She was one of my favorites to win it. But like I said, man, the women's. The reason it impressed me, there was just a few women that entered the match. Well, Asuka, another one. They kind of reverted back to her old gimmick, where she was way more sinister. The face paint and the green mist. She ended up lasting until the end of the match there and got eliminated second to last before Ruby Riott. Or not Ruby Riott. Who was it there? I forget. But yeah, and then Rhea Ripley, of course, winning the whole thing. Ruby Soho's in AEW now, so it wasn't Ruby Riott, but it was somebody in there I forget. But Liv Morgan, and it was down to those three. But Asuka with the green mist ended up spraying Liv Morgan. Morgan ended up getting blinded. Rhea Ripley eliminated her, ended up winning the whole thing. The other woman that I would like to see get a push that's really been like delayed on her push for some reason is Shayna Baszler. I think she's such a badass wrestler, man. I just don't understand why they haven't elevated her. To me, she's kind of on the same level as Ronda Rousey as far as like toughness and that type of appeal. So I don't know why she really hasn't gotten more of a push than she has. But
there's a few there that I think deserve a push. Liv Morgan, Lacey
Evans, another one. Yes,
Lacey Evans. Although Lacey Von Erich is related to the Von Erichs, she definitely surprised didn't get a push. But then again, that was McMahon and. against the old Von Erich family type of bullshit.
So Lacey Evans is a Von Erich?
Yes, she is related to Von Erich's. I don't know if she's Carrie's daughter or she's related somehow. I know that for sure.
I didn't know that. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I've always been a fan of hers. I always thought she's been, even with the Southern Belle gimmick she did.
Yeah.
Her in-ring style is impressive.
But guys, I know we got Robin here. We always try to incorporate Robin each and every week and with her question for our guest. But Robin, what did you think of this year's Rumble?
Yeah, what'd you think?
I mean, I was shocked when they started the event with the men's match.
I know I texted you.
Yeah, I know that was a shocker. Like you said, the Bray Wyatt match I thought was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was more of like a glow in the dark match than a pitch black match.
Cool. That was still cool.
Yeah. The face paint that Bray Wyatt was wearing, that made it kind of cool because, man, it was freaky looking, right?
He's someone that I think they've used well right from the beginning. When they had the whole Wyatt family thing, he's been an intriguing character, and the crowd loves him. And I can't wait to see more of him. I like him a lot.
Do you ever think it goes bad though? Like, why? Well, I guess my point with him is like the crowd shouldn't love him. Like he's supposed to be. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's weird because he's got to be evil.
It's kind of like that love for the Undertaker. Like Undertaker's supposed to be evil.
Yeah,
but I just loved it so much you couldn't help but make him a face. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that same concept, that same result there from what he's been.
Guys,
I think he's such a likable character, man.
They got to keep my guy Paul Heyman involved. It's the only connection to what we love back to, it really is. I mean, he's a manager. There's just none. He's hilarious. He's great. And they don't he doesn't even talk enough.
Right. And what I'd like to see a little bit more of, and they had an opportunity to do it. They didn't do it, but when Lashley was in a feud with Brock Lesnar and Lesnar was still with Heyman, I wanted to see a little bit more between MVP and Paul Heyman.
Yes.
MVP, of course, like the head of the Hurt Business. I think he's great as a manager and he's fantastic on the mic. And I would have loved to have seen a little bit more going on with Heyman and MVP back and forth. I feel like they kind of blew that. But, yeah, I agree. I think Heyman is an all-time top manager in the world. I mean, he's been around forever. Paul E. back in the old NWA, WCW days, and of course ECW, and of course now what he's doing is just awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes, indeed. Wow.
Yeah,
what happens here?
Yeah, and the way the way the Royal Rumble ended, I could kind of see why they started with the men's. The way they finished the show with Kevin Owens handcuffed to the damn ropes after he got beat. He was getting slaughtered by the Bloodline, and of course, Sami Zayn.
That was
really cool. He ended up turning on Roman to a huge pop. The crowd went absolutely nuts when he took the chair to Roman's back. And then, of course, Jey Uso throwing the swerve as he walked out on the Bloodline. It was not seen last night on SmackDown after Sami Zayn sneak attacked Roman Reigns. So, yeah, like I said, this should all culminate at WrestleMania. I think that's where we're going to see Reigns finally lose the title. And we'll see if they end up splitting the title defenses here or if they just have it all as the undisputed universal WWE title, keep it all one belt. Now, here's the other thing too, guys, and I love this idea. We've seen it once before. When Cody Rhodes won the Intercontinental title, he brought back the old Intercontinental title. He's already talking now. If he wins the WWE title, Universal title, he's bringing back the Winged Eagle belt from the 80s, the one that Hogan, the late 80s, the one that Hogan had, the one that Macho Man had, the one that was all the way up until Stone Cold in the late 90s. To a lot of people, the best belt that WWF has ever had, WWE has ever had. That is a classic. It's a beautiful belt. So hopefully, whether he wins or loses, I think he's going to win. They bring back that Winged Eagle belt, man, because it's awesome. I love that belt.
Now, there's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Guys, why don't we take a break?
Okay.
We're about 25 minutes in. We'll check in with our sponsors. We got Chic Tweets. We're going to check in with our match of the week, our jobber, and, of course, our classic clip. So let's check in with our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Digits 988 can save a life. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides connection to free confidential support. There is hope. The Lifeline works. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Another person is sexually assaulted in the United States.
We're here for you.
"93% of offenders are known by the survivor."
It's not your fault. There is hope.
Your story matters. You matter.
1 in 6 women and 1 in 33 men will experience attempted or completed rape in their lifetime.
You don't have to walk your journey alone. You are strong.
You are powerful. Your voice matters.
All right, guys, welcome on back. Falls Count Anywhere podcast. Chris, Charlie, and John. Charlie, Chris, John. I don't know. I said it in the wrong order, but anyway, you get the point. See our names on the screen there. But guys, as we move on along here, we did just recap the Royal Rumble. So if you missed that, go ahead and hit rewind and watch that shit. Anyway, if we want to check in, of course, with the Iron Sheik, as we do when we have the opportunity to here on the Falls Count Anywhere podcast. The Iron Sheik always has some interesting takes, whether it be in the world itself or the wrestling world. And of course, last week, guys, the Super Bowl is going to be coming up next week.
Yes,
the Super Bowl is now the Super Bowl is now complete. Not complete, but it's set up with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs going at it in Arizona. And I'll tell you what, there was a lot of trash talking going on by the Cincinnati Bengals, as we know here in Buffalo, and also heading into Burrowhead, as they like to call it. Not Arrowhead, but they wanted to rename it under Joe Burrow. They thought they were going to go in there and just kind of take over the place. And then the Cincinnati mayor got involved and was talking some trash as well. But anyway, what the Sheik is referring to here, he's talking about Travis Kelce. Travis, Bubba, you impress using my word jabroni. Travis Kelce basically called the mayor of Cincinnati a jabroni for being a jabroni. So good on him to call him out. And the trash-talking Cincinnati Bengals, I thought they were getting a little too big for themselves with the Burrowhead and Eli Apple taking to Twitter and saying Cancun on 3 with the heart symbol, mocking Damar Hamlin. Dude, you're going beyond football. And Eli Apple's a bum. I mean, it's not like he's
Charlie,
good.
This is a perfect villain. This is great. You got to love it.
Yes. And it's, if he would have got clotheslined on the field by
right.
Travis Kelce, I wouldn't have been mad,
That would have been, I mean, that was the first thing I thought of when I heard Kelsey with that interview. Jabroni, Sheik, right?
Yeah, the Sheik, Jabroni, The Rock, and the Sheik, of course, is who we think of first, right? So, yeah, so good on Travis Kelsey for calling him a jabroni, deservedly so. Yeah, the Sheik recognizing it and giving him some love there. Okay. So somebody, Bovada here, and the Sheik likes to retweet them a lot. They put down a list here of maybe potentially first fights for Logan Paul in UFC. I guess he's going to be flirting with UFC soon, but the Sheik was listed at the very bottom there as like a 10,000 to 1 favorite to beat him. He's a long shot. Basically, the guy is 80 years old. I mean, right? But Iron Sheik said, you know what? I beat the F out of the brother Logan and all the 10 house jabronis, all these people they got listed on this this list here for UFC and the odds that they would have it beating or if Logan Paul beating them. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of funny that the Sheik chimed in and is still in the mood to break some backs, but he's just physically unable, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's great.
Here's the next.
And yes, we are living in a society where everyone is a dumb son of a bitch. I'll tell you what, the older I get and the more social media I watch and read and listen to, and he is absolutely right, man. I don't even know. And now, and look, and I'm not talking about everyday people too. I mean, yeah, there are some dumbasses out there, even including me sometimes, right? I'll say something stupid, whatever. But even our own damn government, we got a damn balloon flying over Montana right now. What the hell is our government doing? Yeah, just let it float around. No big deal. Jeez.
And well, I don't know. We can get into that. You don't want me to get into that, but one, like I said, it shouldn't have been in our airspace in the first place, right? Second, now I hear there's another one over Latin America. I mean, what the hell is going on?
What are we doing? You know, I mean, it's just dumb. I mean, like, get rid of it. And I won't even go into that because, like I said, the Sheik said it correctly.
Good job,
There's a lot
Sheik.
of dumb people out there, Sheik.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's see here. What do we got? One more. Oh, this here.
And of course, now on a somber note, we did lose Leaping Lanny Poffo. He did just pass away. You know, the sad thing is Lanny Poffo just posted on social media the night before he passed away. He was at a Broadway show having a great time with his wife, it looked like. And the very next morning, he passed away. You just never know. And the Sheik chiming in saying, Lanny Poffo, my brother, I love you forever. Give Nikolai Volkov, he's referring to Randy Savage and Elizabeth, a hug for me. Just sad news in the world of wrestling. There he is, the genius, Lanny Poffo, of course, the brother of Randy Macho Man Savage, Randy Poffo, and a former manager of Mr. Perfect when he had the genius gimmick there. He would come out, read a poem, and just a very, very cool wrestling character who was just always kind of around. He was always in the wrestling business in some capacity, was never a main eventer, but man, just always somebody that was just appealing to the younger wrestling fans back in the day when he was managing Mr. Perfect. And, of course, back in the old territory days with ICW, with him and his brother.
The tie-in with the Poffo family, yes, the dad, Angelo, Lanny, and Randy, of course.
Great athlete, man. He was a great athlete.
Randy didn't use the last name Poffo, although we knew that. But
Savage was more fitting anyway for him, but yeah.
Sad. We also lost another one, John, if you want to put up his picture, the sod buster there, they call him, Mr. Kenny J, unfortunately passed away, really known throughout the AWA territory and community, and our hearts go out to his family on their loss as well.
Absolutely, and to our buddy Mick Karch as well. Mick Karch, of course, was involved in AWA back in the day and knew him personally, and he posted some pictures of their reunion last year, and I know Mick was kind of hurting from that loss there. So our hearts and our prayers go out to Mick Karch and the family of Kenny J and to all of those that were close to him. Sad loss. Two sad losses in the wrestling world this week. Rest in peace to both.
I mean, was it got more Sheik, or are we done with the Sheik?
Yeah, one more Sheik or no?
No, that was it. We had the four Sheik.
Okay. Well, that's on me, guys, because I know we had a Hulk Hogan bashing in there at some point, and I didn't submit it for this week's take, but I know he had something nice to say about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, yeah, we know that all the time.
Yeah. So we love you, Sheik, and we pray that the Sheik stays healthy as long as he possibly can and lives to 150 years old. And we can still follow him on social media and get that comic relief from him that he always provides, and that blunt assessment of things he sees in the world through the eyes of the Sheik. So very, very cool. Guys, we're going to jump into our Falls Count Anywhere match, or where do you want to go next on this?
Yes.
Yeah, sounds good.
Match of the week. Oh, okay. So, I've been having fun with these. This is our Falls Count Anywhere match of the week. I specifically look for Falls Count Anywhere matches because we are the Falls Count Anywhere podcast. This was Mickie James versus Tara. This was in 2010 TNA Final Resolution pay-per-view. These two were all over the damn arena. And they ended up in the men's room at one point. You see a guy taking a leak back here. The referee wandered in there to help officiate the damn thing. There was even a guy on the shitter at one point. I didn't screenshot that.
Poor guy.
There was a guy taking a shit,
Oh, my
and then
God.
they interrupted that. And then the pinfall took place on the bathroom floor. There it is.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Clean. Have you ever been in a men's room near a urinal? You know that's disgusting.
Oh,
Yeah, but Mickie James ended up winning that match. No, I'm sorry. Tara ended up winning that match over Mickie James, beating her in the Falls Count Anywhere match. Falls truly do count anywhere. They ended up in the men's room, and Tara ended up winning that match. So again, it was the 2010 TNA Final Resolution pay-per-view, and there was also a little twist in there. I don't want to give it away if you've never seen it. There was some interference. There was already a female in the bathroom waiting for those two to show up, and then all the jokes in the comments were like, "Well, what was she doing in the men's room?" But yeah, there was another wrestler in there that interfered and helped Tara win that match. So I thought that was kind of funny as I looked these up and watched these two brawling in the bathroom.
Yeah, that was classic.
that's great. Yeah.
Very
I
cool
mean,
stuff.
can you imagine standing there and that walks through the door and a camera and the whole crew and you're live there on pay-per-view and the guy's sitting there taking a leak?
We used to do a lot of bathroom humor in WWE back in the day. I think there was a skit there where Big Show was at the urinal taking a leak and somebody was trying to peek over and check him out, and he ended up beating up somebody. I can't remember who it was, but he ended up beating him up in the bathroom or something like that. And
My God.
old fashioned TNA wrestling, man.
Yeah.
Very, very cool stuff.
Good.
But guys, let's transition over to our wrestling vault as Chris, each and every show. Well, when we have our opportunity to do it, we unleash the classic wrestling vault. Chris, go ahead and take it away, man.
Yes, and each and every week that we do this, I say my disclaimer, right, guys? But I don't know, that seems to help or not. But all these clips are provided from my own personal collection. I do not sell them to anybody or use them in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I've been trying to stay away from WWE-owned content. Kind of hard to do, though, since they own like Mid-Atlantic and all the great territories. But this week we have two clips from some territories that they do not own. And here we go. This was the territory down in Australia World Championship Wrestling. And this was in there. Look at a young Harley Race here.
How cool. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, just all kinds of great classic footage from all great territories. I know you guys are just skimming this with me, but we can go into it.
Look at that ring.
Yeah.
This is World Championship Wrestling. That was in WCW. Okay.
Yeah, but it was the Australian territory. Australian used WCW.
That's Kernoodle or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yep, that was Don Kernoodle there against the Australian champion Ronnie Miller.
That horrible belt. What the?
That was an arena too. There, we went from the TV studio to the arena.
That looked like his belt for his pants.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then here a little Mark Lewin and the Nature Boy Ric Flair going at it down there in Australia.
This is best 2 out of 3 falls.
That was the JCPenney title.
Just of course Flair was busted open there on the outside of the ring. You know, he's just making that
Flair was born busted open.
Hammering away.
Hammering. And you see too, if you notice, guys, they had 4 ropes like a boxing ring down there, not just 3.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right. Good call there.
But
Flair,
yeah,
one of the all-time best leaders in the history of wrestling.
And from what I heard, that match he had won the first fall, and I think he's probably going to lose the second fall, I would assume, and then win the third. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Or
Usually
something
that's how those go. Yeah.
Yeah, because was that the Australian champ he was fighting again? Was that him?
No, well, Flair was there defending the NWA title against Mark Lewin in that one.
Okay. All right,
cool.
I'll bring up the next.
Okay.
Yep. Next, here we go, guys. Classic NWA Gulf Coast territory.
Wow.
Oh, look at this.
The intern with his manager.
What a name, the intern.
and the manager, the Dr. Ken Ramey.
Yeah,
Where's
the man.
that guy from?
Love it. This one of the ring announcer's pretty good too. Very professional.
Yeah, the voice. So many territories back in the day. I mean, this is why, classic wrestling still rules and forever will because of stuff like this. And then it went to the studio.
We got the Wild Samoans.
Exactly, guys. I knew you would recognize this team as they were first known as the Islanders. But that's Afa and Sika, the Wild Samoans.
And look at the guys they're going up against.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Gotta love the old studio wrestling, no matter what territory.
And this guy here's got a belt. Look at him.
No doubt about it.
Ricky Fields. Wow. But just, of course, our point is classic wrestling, classic territories. And here under Alabama.
Man.
Yeah,
look at this guy.
Yeah, look at his opponent. The Outlaw.
Chicken. The mask is unbelievable.
Terry the Hulk Boulder against the Outlaw here.
The mask.
He looks like a chicken. What is?
And of course, as you can imagine, the Outlaw just kind of got mauled.
Yeah, look at him. That's what I mean.
I've never seen Hogan in a singlet before, man. That's.
Oh, here we are.
And of course, yeah, John, I did this one for you. The classic tag team of the Assassins, right? Assassin number 1 and 2. And this was another one studio there.
I loved. Oh my god!
Wow, man, that Hogan clip. That Hogan clip was great. I've never seen him wrestle in a singlet before, man. And then, yeah, like you said, the guy who was wrestling. Who the hell was that guy?
I don't know what happened to his face. The mask did something weird to him. I don't know, but
yeah, the Outlaw. I don't know.
Yeah, he was from parts unknown because that was unreal.
That was like 1979 before he went to Georgia as Sterling Golden, and then by the December of '79, he was in the WWF as Hulk Hogan.
So, and he was wrestling as Terry Boulder in that match, Chris. That singlet.
Terry the Hulk Boulder.
Wow, so that's going way back. Unbelievable. Now, on a side note, on the Hulkster, I just heard he had another back surgery, and it's being reported that he no longer has feeling in his legs. He's not paralyzed. He could still actually physically walk, but he has no feeling in his legs from his back surgery that he just had. So, prayers to Hogan, man. I know he's hurting health-wise.
I kind of heard that, but then I was like, my phone didn't blow up from all of, you guys or anybody telling me like Lanny died. My phone usually blows up day and night when something happens to let me know. And I didn't hear about it, and I didn't see it on YouTube. Yeah. But he did have a 11th back surgery, but I guess he's okay from what I heard. I don't know.
11 back surgeries, man. That's bananas. And I'll tell you what.
We just seen him on the Monday Night Raw too.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And it just reiterates, man. Look, and I'll defend this, and anybody involved in that's a wrestling fan, it's scripted, but it's not fake. You're not going through 11 back surgeries for something that's fake. I mean, these guys, you have to be in incredible shape. I mean, as we mentioned with The Rock, He even admitted he's not in that cardio shape to carry a wrestling match right now. And you look at The Rock, the guy's a freaking statue. He's unbelievably in good shape. And you would think, he could just walk in, do a half-hour match, 20-minute match, leave and go home and whatever. That's not the case. I mean, you got to be in some phenomenal shape. And some of these big guys, too, that do it, man, these guys that you think are overweight, like the Viking Raiders, for example. These are just big, fat dudes, but they're almost like offensive linemen in the NFL. They got this unbelievable cardio. When you look at what's required to put on a good match and the cardio that's involved and the physical toll that it takes on these guys, I know The Undertaker's another one that mentioned he's had so many surgeries on his hips, on his back, on his neck, on his
knees, elbows.
Yeah, I mean, these guys go through a lot.
Well, you think of Hogan slamming Andre, how many times he probably did that, in different places, or Bundy and all this stuff. And then that leg drop, I think he had one time said, was really instrumental in
that impact on his hip and everything when he lands it. He even said WrestleMania 3, when he picked up Andre for that slam, he could feel his back just kind of rip open. He said he felt it, man. So
wow.
Yeah. Speedy
That's
recovery.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, it is not fake. There's nothing fake about it.
No.
Obviously they might, with the punches and stuff like that, they might hold back a little bit, but all the other stuff, man, there's no faking that.
And we just seen a sickening torn bicep too with Cody Rhodes. That was real.
Oh, the pec there, it was all red and disgusting, and man, these guys they put it all out there and they do it for the fans, man. And as we know, without the fans, they don't exist, And we saw that during the COVID era with the Thunderdome. It just took the air right out of the sails of wrestling as a whole with no authentic crowd reaction. But I digress on that. But it's just commendable what these guys go through physically to put on a great show for the fans. And I know we appreciate it. And I'll tell you what, there's other guys in the wrestling business that sacrifice their bodies for the sake of good wrestling, or maybe just a weekly wrestling show. And that's our jobber of the week. Perfect transition as we check in with our jobber for this week is Mr. Brian Walsh. This guy, as you see here, was appearing on Monday Night Raw. He was an active enhancement talent from 1993 to 1998. And that includes stints in both WCW and WWF. In WCW, he was only 0-3, and then he wrestled 23 matches in WWF where he was 0-23. So a career record of 0-26, no pay-per-views. Also wrestled under the name of Billy Pearl. But when I was looking up Brian Walsh here, I just thought, this guy actually, I don't know, in today's wrestling might have been a little bit more useful. I don't know. He didn't seem to be in too bad a shape. But again, the 0-26 record did not help his cause. But a 5-year run of doing that, 26 matches over 5 years, makes you wonder what keeps them coming back. It had to be a good gig, even though you're getting your ass beat on TV. It must have been a pretty decent payday for when they did need him. So who knows?
Yeah.
And guys.
Real quick, I'd like to mention for our friend we had on the show last year, Mr. Joe Dombrowski, the voice of MLW, Major League Wrestling.
Yes.
They have a big show, finally making it on the big TV scene here in the U.S. On the Reels channel. So this Tuesday night, I believe 9 p.m. Eastern on Reels. Check them out, MLW.
Yes, MLW. And of course, as you said, we got to speak with Joe Dombrowski and get a little bit more familiar with MLW. They got some good things going on there. Congratulations to them for landing that TV deal. Gives us a chance to check them out a little bit more, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I should probably send thank you. Remember who we had on, Stephen E.? Remember him that time? He sent me, and I got to give it to you guys. I got it here, a bunch of DVDs. He didn't forget. He said it on the show. He'd do it, and he sent them. So I want to give them you guys so you can check out. He sent us, a ton of stuff from his own, what he's got going on. And we know we love him. He was great. What a great manager and all that. So
absolutely. Very cool. Anybody checking out this show, if you have any advice for us as far as YouTube is concerned, for whatever reason, I just don't understand it, where we're showing 10-second, 15, 20-second clips of matches, and YouTube is pulling our show saying it's violating WWE copyrights, so it's unviewable. I just don't get it, because you could go onto YouTube and watch entire WWE matches under some jabroni that started a wrestling page, and it's been there for years. And I don't understand why these small clips are being. I don't know what we got to do. So if anybody knows out there what we would have to do we have to put a disclaimer on the screen while it's running? I have no idea. But if anybody knows, give us a clue, because for whatever reason they're hit or miss. Some of our shows stick on YouTube, other ones they just
as of today, whether I say my disclaimer or not, today's classic clips, as you guys know, and I just said, WWE does not own every territory in the business. So
right.
That's, and also there is a way for John where we will dispute some of those shows. Yeah. And but that kind of segues, thank you, Charlie, into let's thanking our fans. John, let's put up our YouTube at Friends with the Z Media Network. We're up to 32 YouTubers now, I understand. We need over 900 and some more to get 1,000, though.
Yeah.
And
we're that close, you know?
yeah, we're on our way. But we appreciate all the fans and anybody who checks us out on our YouTube there at Friends Media Network. Of course, our home on Facebook here, and of course on Twitter and Spotify as well. So we appreciate it.
You know, when you're on Facebook out there and you're watching, if you leave comments, and you feel like it, I mean, I'm not at it, whatever, you can leave stars, it's called, which also helps send, you could donate to the show. You could do whatever by leaving stars, it's called. And then they ask you, $1, $2, $3, $4. So I watch a bunch of guys on TV doing it all the time on YouTube and stuff as their show's going on. So, if you ever feel so inclined, it'd be great. Just makes us get bigger and better.
Absolutely. And big thank you to everybody that checks us out. We appreciate the comments. Saw the comments from last week's or 2 weeks ago show. I think there's about 6 or 7 comments in there and a few likes. So, even if there's one comment in there or, whatever, even a couple likes, it's awesome for us because we know at least somebody's watching and checking this out. But
can I say something too real quick to our viewers? Just realize though too, we are not live. This is pre-recorded. Yes. So if you're asking us, that's the only thing, our responses might be a little delayed because when you're in the comments, I mean, because if we're not right, we'll have to, you might get a response maybe, a couple, an hour later or something, just so you know, you don't think we're ignoring you because we're definitely not.
Right. Yeah. And a shout out to Herb Simmons, who's been checking us out since we've had him on, and we appreciate you, Herb.
In fact, I'll segue into that too for Mr. Herb Simmons and that territory down there, the SCIW, I believe, and they're having their annual reunion show on Saturday, May 13th. Legends and stars will be there on that day, as well as our friend of the show, Mr. Brian Ferguson from the Bumps and Thumps podcast, will be there live in attendance.
Yeah, they got some big names. They're lining up there. I think Ted DiBiase was the latest to be added, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll have some more information on that as we get closer to May 13th. Because absolutely. Again, shout out to Herb Simmons for checking us out, beyond the show that we had him on, and leaving some feedback for us as wrestling fans. Man, it's like, man, Herb Simmons is still watching the show here and there and leaving some feedback. So it's really, really cool, and we appreciate that. So, but guys, hey, like I said, as we wrap up here, stay warm. Hopefully, we're gonna get to spring sooner than later. The stupid groundhog said 6 more weeks and all that dumb shit. But we'll see what happens.
6 more weeks to me, no matter what.
Exactly. Whether that stupid groundhog sees a shadow or not, it's going to be cold here until about April. So stay warm, guys. We got hopefully some guests on deck for next week. And then going forward. But when we don't, we just want to get something out there like we did today and talk a little wrestling. So again, please leave some feedback in the comments if you have any thoughts on the Rumble or any events coming up, WrestleMania or whatnot. Please leave some comments. We'd love to hear your feedback.
Two quick things. One, we would like just lost my train of thought. Yeah, talk about and I'm not
public service announcement there, John. Well, you can think of that, yes. Chris. Anything we want to?
Sure. That was part of it. Public service announcement, John.
Human trafficking hotline, 888-373-7888. Right
Yeah,
here.
if you see, Ron DeSantis flying people to Martha's Vineyard, call this number. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right here in our own community, not too long. We were here in Western New York, right near Canada. We had an issue coming over the border with human trafficking. It's everywhere. It's not just down south. It's all over our country, unfortunately. And children are being sex trafficked and adult, everything. You just pay attention. If you see things that don't look right to you, this is the number to call, 888-373-7888. Because you might be saving someone who's been kidnapped, all kinds of things, and it's anonymous. Don't worry, they won't be asking you for anything. They're just going to just give them where you're at, what you see, and hopefully you'll save a life or two or hundreds. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now I remembered. Sorry about that. Before we go here, Charlie, we had a great guest last week lined up, a legend in the business, Mr. Manny Fernandez, but unfortunately, some technical difficulties regarding that. Hopefully we will have him back on Saturday, March the 11th. So look out for that. We do have 3 guests in the pipe for the next 3 weeks. In fact, I'll tell you, next week's guest is Mr. Ricky Santana, former pro wrestler, definitely within the NWA and the world class. So he should be joining us next week, Mr. Ricky Santana. Stay tuned for that. And let's thank our great producer and friend, John Restaino, and his lovely wife, Robin, for, throwing in an old show last week or whatever we need. They're always here, and we appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
No, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, guys, let's wrap up here. And again, wish you all a great weekend. And, again, stay warm out there. And we'll be back next week with a guest. As you mentioned, Ricky Santana. We'll be talking some more classic wrestling, of course, as we do here on the Falls Count Anywhere podcast. Thanks for checking us out. Everybody have a great one, man. Take care.
Take care.